Okay. I want to call tonight's meeting of the Covington City Council dated August 3rd, 2021 to order. If you notice that we have limited capacity tonight due to the rise in the COVID cases, seating will be limited to the COVID-19 capacity guidelines, and standing will not be allowed. Also, attendees must be required to wear their face masks. We appreciate that, or face coverings inside the council chambers. Also, at this time, if you would silence your phones or turn them off would be appreciated. And we can go right into roll call.
Councilman Lewis.
Here.
Councilman Botsford.
Here.
Councilman Roberts.
Here.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Here.
Councilman Verrett.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Rowling.
Here. If we can all stand for a moment of silence, please. Sheriff Randy Smith, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Thank you. Okay, first thing on the agenda is our appearer tonight, Mr. Thomas Mitchell with the LPC Hope House. Councilman Boxford?
Yes, I wanted to invite Mr. Thomas here to come speak on behalf of the Hope House. They're a wonderful, wonderful organization. They do a lot for the community, and I want him to come and speak to the City Council, and so we could hear exactly what Covington can do for the Hope House.
Yeah, so thank you very much for having me, and I'm also joined tonight by Holly and Gia, who are both board members for our organization. I think you probably all know how vital Hope House is as a part of our community. We collect all of the forensic evidence for any child crime that happens within the 22nd Judicial District. To keep everything extremely simplistic, we're just asking you all tonight to invest in our mission, as you did throughout the previous decades in supporting Hope House through a cooperative endeavor agreement. Hope House is a mandated response, mandated by law through the Louisiana Children's Code. So while we are a 501c3 nonprofit, there is no leniency on whether to follow the protocol of the collection of the evidence through Hope House. It's absolutely the most robust, systematic, most healing environment that's going to reduce the traumatization that the child has to experience. We would like to ask for a $10,000 CEA agreement for the support of our organization annually. I can tell you the municipal organizations that currently have a CEA agreement with Hope House are the St. Tammany Parish Government, Washington Parish Government, City of Mandeville, City of Slidell, Town of Madisonville, City of Bogalusa, and the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office and the Washington Parish Sheriff's Office. So for the City of Covington to be the only municipal city in all of the 22nd Judicial District that completely stopped the CEA agreement with Hope House, I'm just speechless. I don't have any understanding of how that isn't a priority, especially what's happened over the past 18 months with the crimes against children that we've responded to in the City of Covington. If the City of Covington was to take this initiative on themselves, you would need to hire a forensic interviewer. You would need to send that forensic interviewer, someone with a master's degree in counseling, psychology, or social work, to advanced training for a period of 2 to 3 weeks in North Carolina or Los Angeles or Washington. You would need to pay for that training. You would have to pay for their CEUs, their licensure. You would have to pay for their benefits. It would be astronomical for the City of Covington to take this on themselves. And we're just here to ask for that CEA agreement to be reinstated. And if not, I have no words. So.
Yeah.
I would just like to add, crimes against children, even in the city of Covington, the statistics say it's 1 in 10. So when you have a child that has experienced that kind of trauma, and Covington's had a lot of it, actually, and I'm an advocate for children wherever they are. But the fact of the matter is, beyond the justice, whether you give us the money or you don't give us the money, we will find the money. We are going to service children, and we are going to stand up against child abuse, whether the city of Covington does or does not. But what I want to say is that the kids that have experienced this trauma, they don't have a voice. We are their voice. And after the judicial process, they come to us for counseling at zero charge to them. And we do everything in our power to help them overcome their PTSD, and so that they can have their childhood back. And by doing that, you will see kids that have experienced trauma, that have gotten their childhood back, that do better in schools, that they are less likely to commit a juvenile crime. The benefits for y'all partnering with us are tremendous, but just know that we are going to service the children of Covington. We're just asking you respectfully to please put us in your budget. And I was born in Covington. I was raised in Covington. I'm a third-generation Covingtonite, but I do reside in Madisonville at this time. And I'm just beside myself that my town of Covington, the parish seat, has dropped the ball when no one else has, and I don't know why, and I don't know what happened, but I respectfully ask that you kick it up and put us back on the map in this follow.
Ma'am, before you leave the mic, can you say your name for the
Sure.
record? So we have to put it in
Gia
the record?
Baker. I'm past president of the Children's Advocacy Center Hope House.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, if you can state your name for the record.
Holly Bouillon. I'm this year's president. And I won't take up much more of your time because there's not much more that I can add to what Thomas and Gia have already expressed. But just to state that Gia and I are both volunteer board members. We've been highly involved with the Hope House for a number of years, and we've seen what good that this has done, and we see parts of our community that we didn't know existed, and quite frankly, a lot of people don't know. And so we just want to really, again, thank you for your consideration and ask you to seriously consider reinstating what you've done already for over a decade up until just very recently, and put your support back to our Hope House, which does such great work in the community. Thank you.
Before we take questions from the council, does the administration want to say something real quick? And then we'll take, just let me know if you need to have a question.
Yes, thank you. When I came into office, I was advised by the current CAO at that time that the cooperative endeavor agreements that we had entered into with some of the nonprofits were forbidden by the Attorney General's office. And so that was at the point in time when we took those cooperative endeavor agreements out of the budget. I find it very bothersome that the current St. Tammany Parish, with that same CAO, now in fact does fund Hope House. There's no question about the value that Hope House brings to our community. That was never part of this equation. It was simply a new mayor being advised that what we were doing was not proper. But when you look at all the other municipalities doing it, and you look at the parish government doing it, I think their argument is very valid. I think it's very compelling, and I think we should include it in the next budget.
Okay, that being said, one quick question, Mr. Roggery. Do you see any issue with that, in your opinion?
Historically, there's a constitutional prohibition against the donation of public funds, but there's been crafted this cooperative endeavor agreement approach where if the government body distributing the funds can show a benefit that's equal to the amount of contribution, then you can craft an agreement that would authorize the contribution, because it's not no longer a gift, you're receiving a benefit, so it can be crafted.
Appreciate that clarification. Council, Councilman Roberts?
Yeah, is $10,000 equivalent to what you're receiving in the past?
No,
What were you receiving in the past?
6,000. But we're trying to make up, and also we've seen an uptick in especially cases of child pornography.
Right.
Within our district, ever since COVID, and we've had more, we're going to serve more kids this year than ever before. And it's just it's a challenge, and it has nothing to do with the money. I hope that everyone truly understands. It's about an investment in the CAC and what we do. Sometimes, you know, we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and it's tough to be in the same genre of the Save the Puppies Foundation of the North Shore and all. I'm all about saving puppies, but the truth is, this has not. I mean, these are kids.
Right.
This is the justice for kids. This is about safety in our community. This is about holding offenders accountable, pedophiles who are hurting kids, actively seeking out to harm kids and creating lifelong changes maladaptively in our environment, in our community. And I just, I mean, I'm very passionate about this, and I hope that you consider it an investment. You know, I want you to really ask yourself, like, what type of message does that send? If I'm a perpetrator in Slidell or Mandeville, all right, well, these guys are invested in getting kids justice and you know, the CAC and evidence collection in the most robust, best way possible. That's going to hold offenders accountable to 95.6% prosecutorial efficacy when they go right across the street, right? But if I want to move to an area that's not invested, well, I'll go to the city of Covington, you know? It's a tough break. Yeah, so.
And I'll give you one, you might not know off the top of your head, just since COVID, I know the idle time, you know, is the Devil's Workshop. You've seen an increase in cases, I'm sure, as far as internet-based child pornography, things like that.
Certainly, yeah. And I mean, just access to tablets, right? Access to technology
Right.
is going to spike when a child has more access to technology. The perpetrators, you know, with reciprocity have more access to the child. So, yeah, and it's a challenge, and we all know that this community and our community, which I consider myself a part of, is certainly not immune to those types of crimes.
And I guess lastly, I know exactly what you guys do and truly appreciate you. So thank you for doing what you continue to do as well.
Yeah.
Councilman Smith?
Yes. Well, Mr. Mitchell Thomas, we appreciate what you guys do for this community and for the Washington Parish, St. Tammany Parish. It's an incredible, I hate to even say the word investment, but I will advocate, and it sounds as if our mayor agrees, that we need to step up to the plate. And Attorney Rodriguez just said we can craft legally a way to get on board with this.
Excellent.
So I would think, knowing this council, I don't think you're going to have a problem.
That's great.
2022, I think you'll see money. So we
Thomas,
appreciate you guys.
do you know how many years we've not been in the CAA?
I could trace it back through my records to 2008, I believe.
2.
Oh, that we haven't had it 2 years.
2.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I mean, it might even be worth, Mark and I mean, we're just saying it might even be worth, if the budget allows, to try to make up for that time, because I wasn't even aware we weren't in it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Because
Councilman
obviously,
Perrott?
we know, and I've been involved with the Hope House since high
Yeah.
school, and then got to see it with y'all last year. It's a great
Definitely.
program, of course. We want to
for sure.
do everything
Yeah,
we
I
can.
appreciate all of your investment. I mean, I know many of you are so personally invested, and I thank you for your service to our CAC, and thank you for hearing us.
Councilman Barrett?
I simply just wanted to thank you for coming, because I was not aware of that, and I don't think, as you're seeing the reaction from this council, that we were aware of that. So Councilman Ludwig and I were just talking that I would like to make up, I'm only one councilman, but I think you've got a pretty good reaction here, and we'll certainly bring the budget issue up with administration.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Thank you
And
very
let's
much.
not forget men who cook.
We got a couple more.
I got the
We have a-
sheriff on my radar this year.
We have a
I
couple
think
more
we had
questions.
Mr.
Mitchell.
Thomas.
Thomas
We
Mitchell.
had two other councilmen, I think, that wanted to say something. Councilman Boxford?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a few more questions. Yeah, and just to echo, I wasn't aware of, you know, the situation with the budget. I'm just curious on what other outreach programs you guys do. I know we hear about the pornography stuff. Are there any other areas you guys touch with the youth in
So
the community?
the 350 kids that we'll serve, in 2021 or more are victims of child sexual assault, child physical abuse, extreme child neglect, and then child pornography. And I was just highlighting child pornography because we've seen an uptick in internet victimization of children. and the average age we serve is 9.7.
And how do you guys get those kids? Are they mostly referrals?
Law enforcement. So,
Law enforcement. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Covington PD, whenever they're investigating a case, they're mandated by the Louisiana Children's Code to bring that child in a responsive, coordinated investigation through Hope House so that we can collect that forensic evidence.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to, again, thank you for coming to the council. When I toured your place, it was very surreal. I mean, the handprints on the wall and everything just really, I mean, it was very powerful, and y'all do such a great service. I also want to thank the administration for stepping up to the plate as well and figuring out a way to fund this, and it will be part of the budget, I'm pretty sure, with this council.
That's great.
I'm just, you know, they were given bad information, and we need to correct that, and I think this council is willing to do that, so,
Yeah,
thank you.
certainly. Yeah, thank you.
I'm just curious, what do the other municipalities give y'all, if you care to tell?
Yeah, I mean, I can recount that for City of Mandeville, 12,000 annually. Some of those I wouldn't disclose. You could meet with me off the record, and
Okay.
I'll, or off, you know, I don't mind. I mean, it's in our 990 if you want to look it up, but yeah. So,
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, we appreciate you being here. Okay, next on up here is Mr. Chris Jean, Stand Up St. Tammany, Chief Randy Fidel, Slidell Police Chief, and Sheriff Randy Smith, Sheriff of St. Tammany Parish, proposed Slidell Area Casino, St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. Before I turn it over to Councilman Smith, one thing, I know we do have 3 appearers in this one group. If you could limit to around 15 minutes, would be appreciated. We do have a long agenda tonight, so we would appreciate that. Councilman Smith?
Thank you. Yeah, I met with a couple of these folks, and we had some really good discussion about this November election concerning St. Tammany Parish and a proposed casino. And maybe I'm a lot more educated now than I was prior to that meeting. And I thought it was just valid. I mean, a good idea to have you guys and, you know, here tonight to reiterate what I kind of learned through that conversation. I think it's important that the voters, specifically in the west side of the parish, take this thing to heart, you know. I know the voters on the east side of the parish are taking it to heart. And if the shoe was reversed, it was on a different foot, I think we'd be a lot more attentive to what's going on. So with that said, again, we'll try and keep it to 15 minutes or so. That's kind of what I asked for. I think you guys have a slideshow. Gene, Mr. Gene, if you want to step up and you can bring you guys up here, or we can do it one at a time, however y'all want to present it.
Thank you.
And if you would, just say your name for the record, please. Thank you.
My name is Chris Jean. I'm the president of Stand Up St. Tammany. It's an organization that was formed to inform everybody about the casino and the effects it's going to have on Slidell. I'd like to show you first is a presentation from the House meeting. These are the words of the representatives that were there, so can you please start that?
One of the headlines is the Slidell City Council rejected the resolution. I know you mentioned the ones that were in favor, so however, it just couldn't pass then. It just couldn't pass.
Correct.
This license is still a riverboat casino, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you would have to pass riverboat casino gambling or gaming in that parish constitutionally, would you not?
I'm being told by the lawyer that that is exactly what this referendum does, which is what I said in the first place.
So this is a constitutional amendment to allow the license to change and for riverboat gambling to be approved parish-wide in St. Tammany Parish.
That was my understanding, and apparently that is, I'm being told that I was correct. There total of 15 licenses in Louisiana, and I actually feel it shouldn't be limited, but that's for another day.
Representative Dugasine waives questions. Representative Wright, would you take the question? No. He waives questions.
As you can see by that video, those are not my words. Those are the words of the representatives from our community. Do you know why small businesses are a backbone of our community? Business communities rely on local businesses to support youth sports, local clubs, community events. According to HUD, small businesses generate 44% of U.S. economic activity. They also generate 54% of all new jobs. Do you know that 2 out of every 3 jobs are created by small businesses? In 2005, Katrina destroyed this community, destroyed Slidell. 3 years later, 2008, the worst economic recession, closed a lot of small businesses. 12 years later, we have COVID, tried to destroy our economy. How do we survive that? Small businesses. People came together. They ordered meals. They bought gift certificates. They supported their neighbors. We survived it. Again, communities are always rally around small businesses. Did you know that every $100 spent in the community, $48 stays when you do it locally? That comes out of civic economics. For every $100 you spend at a major corporation, $14 comes back to the community. When you spend $100 on Amazon, $1 stays in the community. Local business is the key to survival for small communities. Big businesses didn't rebuild this community after Katrina, after the recession, after COVID. We did. Every one of us helped our neighbors. We didn't know after COVID how it was going to look. Were we going to have a job? Were we going to survive? And nobody knew because we'd never seen a pandemic. But what did we do? We went together. You bought the takeout. You went home. You didn't care about your financial situation. You helped your neighbors because we always help each other. We can't control hurricanes. We can't control the stock market. We can't control pandemics, but we control the outcome of this casino vote. We are here tonight asking for your support for Slidell. I gave you a package that shows the Slidell City Council, the mayor, the chief of police, the sheriff, all voting against this casino. We know what the economic impact is going to be. The facts are there. They're undeniable. We know that there's a lot of legal lawsuits going on about this because we don't know if there's a casino coming to Slidell, Covington, Mandeville, because of what was said. So we're asking you tonight to stand with us, stand together, support Greg Cromer, support the city council, support the 150 businesses I represent, support the chief of police, support the sheriff, and support our community. Like Mr. Smith said, it could be you next time. We know based off the HELIS project that the parish did, when the DNR said it didn't matter what your zoning was, they gave them the right to frack. Well, we know Fontainebleau State Park is controlled by the state. So if we open gambling up, are we going to gamble with our economies? Are we going to hope that the state doesn't say, you know what, we need that extra money, let's put a casino at Fontainebleau? Or we hope that Texas doesn't open gambling and all the money that's in Lake Charles and Shreveport gets sucked back to Houston and Dallas? Then what happens? Down the tubes. You can bet, if you look at every casino in this country, from Iowa to Kansas, they all geo-fence their borders. That's what's happening here. This is the first step in putting a casino in St. Tammany Parish to stop people from leaving Louisiana and go to Mississippi. There's only so many pieces of the pie you can get. Let's not open this door. Let's not gamble with it and hope we can trust our legislators. By what you've seen tonight, you know that we can't. So I'm asking you to sign a letter, do a resolution, stand with us, stand with our community. As you would want us to do for you, we're asking you to do it for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all, Sheriff Randy Smith, on behalf of the parish of St. Tammany. My concern is more about law enforcement, the quality of life we have in this parish, and public safety. Any and every poll I've ever done before running for office, number one on that list is public safety. Number two is education for our children. And I think this casino is a bad deal. We've done statistics that prove that casinos in the areas that they have have increased crime, the crime rates, increases mental health, domestic violence, human trafficking and prostitution, along with substance abuse issues. I've reached out to two of my colleagues, Sheriff Ricky Adams in Hancock County, Mississippi, where there is a casino, and Troy Peterson, the sheriff of Harrison County. And they both said that these casinos will come in with false promises and promise you the world and guarantee you substations and additional funding for manpower. Well, they said they were lies to the casino people they dealt with. I've met with most of our colleagues in the municipal police chiefs in our area who have come out against this. Why Slidell? That's where I live. That's where I was born and raised. And I just don't want to see a casino, not just in Slidell, but anywhere in St. Tammany Parish. We are fighting every day to protect the quality of life in St. Tammany Parish, whether it's on the west or the east. And we're seeing that criminal element sneak across that Lake Pontchartrain and prey upon our citizens. We fight together, collectively, with our municipal police departments, our state partners, our federal partners, working together each and every day to prevent that crime coming to our area. And again, doesn't matter what area of St. Tammany Parish it is, we want to maintain the quality of life we have. A casino is not good. I am not against gambling or going to a casino. I just don't want it here in St. Tammany Parish. Our jobs are tough enough. People are moving here. Our parish is expanding. Our population is growing. We have to do everything we can collectively. Whether you sign a petition or a letter or a resolution, that's up to you. I'm asking you, when you get ready to vote for this thing, to vote no. You wouldn't want it here in Covington, nor Mandeville, Madisonville, Folsom, Lacombe for that matter. We don't want it in Slidell. Thank you for your time, Mr. President, and members of the council. Appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Mr. President, members of the council, Mr. Smith, 40 years in law enforcement. I was elected to the position of police chief in Slidell in 2016. I've been asked, why am I getting involved? Why should I get involved? I should get involved just what Sheriff Smith said, public safety. Slidell is the largest city in St. Tammany Parish. It's the 13th largest city in the state. This casino is going to be 2 miles, less than 2 miles from our city limits. Not once during the, whether you want to call it negotiation process or during the time period where everybody involved, any elected officials were involved, were told they couldn't speak about it. I didn't find out until everybody in Slidell found out. I found out just before one of our city council meetings. In March, I stated I was against the casino. I've been involved in law enforcement, like I said, 40-something years. 22 of those years were with Louisiana State Police. In 1996, I believe, River City Casinos spent millions of dollars to open up at the end of Canal Street. I was temporarily assigned to help get those casinos up and running. We got it open, and in less than 9 weeks, they closed the doors. I don't think we need to gamble like that in St. Tammany Parish. We can't afford to gamble like that in St. Tammany Parish. I did some research. I found a report this morning about Natchez, Natchez, Mississippi. In 1995, they opened up a casino because they thought they had the tourist industry and they had what they felt they needed, that a casino could go in there and help the economy there. The casino opened up, and in 1 month, the local area saw a 71% drop in business. 71% in 1 month. That's because it hurts the local businesses. It's critical to the local businesses. The hotels and motels in the area, They didn't see an increase in people staying there, because what it is you can, a 50-mile radius around that casino is where the visitors to that casino came from. 50-mile radius. Nobody's going to stay in hotels from a 50-mile radius. And when the sheriff and I sat there and had a press conference probably a month or 6 weeks ago, one of the things we said was, you can look at the radius around Slaughter. The visitors to that casino, God forbid if it opens up, the visitors to that casino will come from a 50-mile radius. Nobody's going to want to stay in the hotels. They might go there. They might gamble. They're going to eat there. That's going to hurt our businesses. The restaurants in Natchez, Mississippi admitted it had an adverse effect on their businesses. And that's what we're going to see in St. Tammany Parish. Please join with me and the sheriff, join with Christine, 150 businesses in Slaughter. All it takes is us to stand together, stand up St. Tammany. Let's not gamble with our future. Let's stop this casino now while we still have time. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I hear people sometimes on the west side say it doesn't affect us. We're on the other side. How does it affect us? I'm not against gambling. I own racehorses. I go to the fairgrounds when it's open. But anybody that's ever been to a casino here knows how they get you in there. They're proposing 5 restaurants. So how are they going to get people from Covington to Mandeville here? They're going to send out coupons to every one of your residents. $250 in free play, $250 in free meals, free stays. Casinos between Sunday night and Thursday night send anybody that puts a quarter in a slot machine a free room during that time. And then the weekends is when they get their little boom. There's no way you're not going to be affected, your small business. The big, strong ones, they'll survive. But if you lose 1 customer, 2 customers, 3 customers to Slidell, it affects your sales tax. It'll start affecting millages. It'll affect those small businesses. They're still surviving from COVID. So think about that. We've all been there to a casino, know somebody. You're going to get free meals, free food, free stay. It's going to affect you. So please consider standing with us and voting against it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here tonight. Okay. Moving on. We're going to move right on to the consent calendar tonight. Regular meeting minutes, July 13th. Excuse me. Just want to make a clarification. Okay, consent calendar. Regular meeting minutes, July 13th, 2021. Introduction of item number 2021-0801, an ordinance of the City of Covington declaring the unconstructed portions of President's Drive, 60-foot row, extending from Menatry Drive to Mile Branch, an abandoned, vacant, closed, and not needed for public purposes. Planning case number 210702, SAC Street renovation. I need a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis?
Thank you. Regular agenda. Public hearing action number 210701. An ordinance of the City of Covington declaring surplus certain vehicles and equipment owned by the City of Covington. Normally, this happens once a year, so it's that time again, right? So I don't know, administration, do you want to say anything on behalf of this, or? Okay.
Well, this goes back to the same concept as giving away public funds. There's a prohibition against donating assets of the city in any form. But like any other business, we have equipment that becomes outdated, worn out, broken, and so on. So there's a process to declare them to be surplus property, and then they are actually auctioned off for whatever income they'll generate. Except when you get to the next 2 items, there is special legislation that authorizes the sharing of equipment between police departments. So you're going to see later in the agenda, we're giving some outdated police equipment, I think, to Madisonville and Folsom. This is also a regular occurrence where we might have a vehicle with a couple 100,000 miles on it or more that we can't use, but they could use an extra vehicle, and we are allowed to give those to other law enforcement. But the general concept of the first ordinance is to declare those items surplus. The city has no further use for them. We can't throw them in the garbage. We can't throw them in the dumpster. We can't give them away. So we have to go through this process to formally auction them off and generate whatever income they'll generate for whatever condition they may be in.
I'd also like to add that in the future, we're looking at, moving forward, doing this every 6 months or so, because what happens is we end up getting so much equipment that's in storage, and it builds up over the course of a year. So we're going to look at doing it twice a year.
Makes sense. Thank you. We're going to open the public hearing at this time. Anyone from the public that would like to comment? Yes, sir. If you come, yes, sir. And you can remove your mask, of course, and if you can state your name and address, please, for the record.
Yeah, my name is Lance Bonham in beautiful downtown Covington. I just have a question on all of these equipment that is being donated. I think it's a really good idea to donate it to cities that need it. But I think that the city, originally when they acquired the equipment, had to pay some sort of taxes for them, I would assume. Is that a true statement?
We're tax exempt.
Okay, so you're tax exempt, so we didn't have any. What I'm wondering is if I give away a car, I can get a tax credit for it. And the attorney mentioned that we had to auction it off or something like that. Is there any tax credit or reciprocal giving from those cities to us to just be fair? That's the only thing.
Mr. Rodriguez?
First of all, we're tax exempt. We don't pay any sales tax, and we don't file income tax. So, I mean, there is no tax benefit to us. That would be giving something to a nonprofit corporation that's 501(c). We don't pay any taxes to be exempt from by making a donation. So it doesn't really apply to us. So the theory is we bought stuff, it may have a very minimal value, but we are required by law to recoup whatever value this equipment has in its current condition.
And it could be for $1.
Whatever it brings at the bid.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Okay, we'll move on to council comments. Councilman Smith?
And to your point, I do believe after it's settled, the administration shares with us the bottom line, how much money we were able to take in, okay? At least that's my experience, and I'm assuming it's still going to be that way. So, yeah, we'll find out how much revenue we generate from this.
Councilman Lewis? You had a question?
So when we auction it off, it's through an auction company that's up for anybody? What company do we use? I guess I'm just kidding.
They go through, they may have us and other municipalities or us and the sheriff or whoever may be in the process at this time where they can coordinate them. They advertise it and they handle all of it.
Anyone else from the council? Okay. That being said, any objection to close the public hearing? Seeing none, hearing none. I need a motion to close, please, the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Need a second?
Second.
I do need a motion to adopt now.
Motion to adopt.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis? Councilman Bosford?
Yes.
All right, moving on. Item number 2, public hearing, action item number 2021-0702, an ordinance of the City of Covington declaring surplus property owned by the City of Covington and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents in connection with the donation of said surplus property to the Village of Sun Police Department Councilman Verret, do you want to add anything on this?
No, Rod was kind enough to tackle that, so self-explanatory. Look, it's a great program. We've been doing it a while, and I think it's phenomenal that we can assist something that we're not using, another municipality find some use in. So it's better than a garage sale.
Thank you for that. Okay. We're going to open public hearing on this. Anyone from the public that would like to speak on behalf of this? Seeing none, hearing none. Council comments? All right. Let's move on to any objection of the closing of the public hearing at this point? Seeing none, hearing none. Motion to close, please? I need a second.
Second.
I need a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second, please. Second. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilman Verret,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis, Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Public hearing item number 2021-0703, an ordinance of the City of Covington declaring surplus property owned by the City of Covington and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents in connection with the donation of said surplus property to the City of Madisonville Police Department. Councilman Verret?
Same circumstance, benefits Madisonville, and I would argue that it benefits the city of Covington as well.
Thank you for that, sir. Anyone from the public that would like to have a comment on behalf of this? Seeing none, hearing none. Any council comments? All right. Any objection to close the public hearing? I need a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt?
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Verret,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis, Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Yes.
All right. Item number 4, public hearing action item number 2021-0704, an ordinance of the City of Covington amending the 2021 operating and capital budget. Councilman Boxford.
Yeah, this one we've already been over. We looked at the pay raise for the city employees. We budgeted conservatively, and then we found out that we had a little bit more in there. I think this is great for the city. It's a great move. And other than that, unless the administration has anything to say about it, that's it.
Thank you, sir. If the administration, you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about this, and then I'll go through the change. Before we vote, we'll go through the changes in the ordinance, okay?
At the council meeting of June, I shared with the council that as we had reached the midpoint of 2021, there were several suggestions that I had for the council to consider the budget regarding salaries and projects. This mid-year budget review should help the city as an organization remain agile and nimble. I preface those budget suggestions by sharing that our 2020 sales tax revenue had increased by about $800,000 and that our utility revenue had increased by about $880,000. Just as important, when we budgeted for this year, 2021, we, the administration and the council, were very conservative in our spending. We always are. But we were particularly conservative coming into this year because during the budget process, we were in the midst of the pandemic, which we are now back in the midst of the pandemic. We have about $5 million in our fund balance on hand. The minimum a city our size should have on hand is about $3 million. The point being that financially, both in revenue and in our savings, we're in a good place. So I made the suggestions that we see tonight in the ordinance. I appreciate the fact that the council took it to heart and hosted a work session where we went through it in detail, introduced it at the last council meeting, and tonight it's up for adoption. I think it's a good practice that we come back at mid-year and look at what we might need to amend, and that's something that I hope to do in the future.
Thank you, Mayor. Before we open up, sure, go ahead.
Just a couple of housekeeping
Absolutely.
items.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so If you look at page 2 of the ordinance, you'll see that the section under planning and zoning has some strikeouts. That is because the version that we submitted to you last month for consideration included a full year of salary and benefits for the new assistant director position. I caught this after the fact, and then we recalculated how much we would need to get us through the end of the year. So that's a correction that we've submitted. Also, for the organization-wide salary increase, the $2,000 per year, we propose that if adopted, that will take effect on the August 24th payroll, okay? And it won't be $2,000 by the end of the year. It'll be so much increase per hour per employee.
Okay, before we go into public hearing and council comments, I want to go ahead and read the changes to this ordinance. So if anybody has it in front of them, page 2, item, line number 17 through 26, the changes are, line 17 is the salary, 18 is overtime, 19 is health insurance, 20 is life insurance, 21 is disability insurance, 22 is retirement, 23 is Medicare, 24 is workman's comp, and 25 is unemployment. So really the change is on line 26. It was $97,279.87. Now it's $38,993.02. So if you go to the very last page, or is it the second last? Second last page. Line number 19, decrease to general fund. That's what we changed in tonight. So the decrease goes from $1,022,090.46 to $963,803.61. So that being said, that's on public record now. Are we going to open up the public hearing? Is there anyone from the public that would like to talk on this behalf, have a comment? Seeing none. Council comments? Anyone from the council? I know we've been working on this. We appreciate the administration. Councilman Barrett?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we all know and we tout and we say, because we believe it and it is true, that we're a great place to live. I think this is a great example of it's also a great place to work. And I think that we value our employees. We want you to stay. This council rose to the occasion. This administrations rose to the occasion. So let the record reflect. Great place to live and a great place to work.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? Yes, I would agree before we vote on this, that the administration saw the vision of what we need to do, and had it right, and obviously saving money here, changes. So we appreciate that very much. Okay, so
I'd just
let's
like to
go
say-
ahead. I'm sorry?
No, I was just saying that I
Yeah.
think one of the best things in here is the increase for our city employees. Of
course.
Just now, for the record, we didn't give them a raise last year, so we're kind of making up for it as well. And it's long overdue, because our public works and our city employees are some of the hardest working people that I deal with. And they truly deserve it.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? Okay, any objection to close the public hearing? Seeing none, hearing none. I need a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion to close.
I need a second. I need a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis? Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Okay, new business. Let's move on to resolution number 2021-11, a resolution of the City of Covington confirming the council at-large reappointment of Jim LaCroix to the Covington Tree Board for a term of 3 years. Obviously, the tree board, the terms is usually 3 years unless somebody drops off the board and we have to reappoint someone or get a new person. So we appreciate all the board members. They do a great job for the city. So that being said, I don't think, is Jim here tonight? I don't think so, huh? No. Okay, so I don't see him. I don't know if he wants to say anything really quick. So we can open it up to the public and anybody from the public. Excuse
My
me?
name is Mark Johnson. I live at 604. I've been visiting and attending the tree board meetings for several years, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of the people that are up for reappointment this evening. They take it, like each one of our boards and commissions, they take it very seriously. And they've offered some suggestions. You guys have adopted recently some changes to an ordinance to clarify some things. They recently took an audit of all of our trees in downtown, gave me a list of those that we'd like removed. Those have been removed by Public Works, and the other ones we're working on pruning and cleaning them up and that kind of thing. And they take our live oak inventory very seriously. So they're one of those quiet little groups that really mean a lot to the city, and I just wanted to share that appreciation.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, and we do not have to have any public comment on this. Council comments. I know all of us do appreciate the tree board. Obviously, the city's beautiful with our canopy of trees, and we appreciate them and everything they do. So I do need a motion to adopt, please.
Motion to adopt.
Need a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis? Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Resolution number 2021-12, a resolution of the City of Covington confirming the memorial reappointment of Mr. Bruce E. Davison to the Covington Tree Board for all another three-year term. Mayor, anything you want to say on that? We all good? Okay, so anything from the council? Any comments? Okay. Motion to adopt, please. I need a motion.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Lewis? Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes. Moving on. Resolution number 2021-13, a resolution of the City of Covington Council confirming the memorial, I don't know why I have difficulty with that word, I'm so sorry. Reappointment, I know I should put my mask on, of Emily Covington to the Covington Tree Board for a three-year term. Mayor, any comments? We can move on accordingly. Okay. Council comments? Nope. Okay. I need a motion, please, to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis?
Next, resolution number 2021-14, a resolution of the Covington City Council confirming I don't know why I have difficulty with that word. I am so sorry. Reappointment of Billy, is it Skanda? Okay, to Covington Tree Board for a three-year term. I don't know if Billy's here. We want to thank you if you were. I know Bruce wasn't going to be here and Emily. Any council comments, please?
I just want to say about Ms. Stanga. She's, like the mayor said, that she takes her job very seriously. She's also a master gardener. She is perfect for this position. And I can't think of anybody better for it.
Thank you. Any other council comments?
I would just say that they all fit the category since we voted for them, that they're all great people and they should be on the
Yes,
tree board.
yes, indeed. Okay, anything else? Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Need a second? Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Roberts? Yes. Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis? Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution number 2021-15, a resolution of the City of Covington Council confirming the capital outlay and recumbents. I don't know, I have difficult with that word too. Rollovers from 2020 budget for the 2021 budget. Councilman Smith.
All right, this is pretty simple. This is money that hadn't been used in the 2020 budget that the administration wants to move to 21. Some of it wants to be moved, and others we don't need it, so it'll be going back to the general fund, I would assume. And it all makes sense. I went through it. I don't see anything that doesn't make sense. So that's all we got. Would the administration like to share anything?
Anything? Okay, thank you. Council comments? Hearing none. Motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ludwig? Yes. Councilman Barrett? Yes. Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis? Yes. Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, items for discussion. The recent violence in the city of Covington. Councilman Lewis.
All right. Thank you. I want to first thank the administration, the council, and chief and the police force for working with me and District A dealing with the recent violence. Since taking office, I've worked very closely with this council, the safety committee, coming up with different ideas to try and curb the violence in District A. I'm sadly to say that we've made very little progress. However, I am happy to say that we have not given up. The fight still goes on, and I do have faith that we will get the violence out of Covington. I must say that I am a little frustrated, and that's understandable. I'm okay with that. I'm frustrated because it's not the place that I expected Covington to be at this point. I'm frustrated because I expect more from the community. I expect more from the parents, the uncles, the nieces, the adults in this community, the leaders of this community. I want to be very clear. I do expect the police to be the force of the community, but they can't do it all by themselves. They have to have eyes and ears where they're not at certain times in the community. So it's going to take the community to help the police when they're not around. When I look around in this room right now, I'm frustrated. Because when I'm not in this room at this meeting, I'm getting calls from every person in District A that they want to be here to discuss the violence. It's on my agenda, and you're not present. So when you hear me in this frustration on YouTube or Venmo, and this meeting is being replayed, I hope you hear the frustration in my voice. Because I put it on the agenda for you to come and discuss about the violence that's going on in District A, and you're not present. To Chief Farrell, thank you for taking my calls, my text messages. I commend you thus far. I know it's a headache. Mayor Mark, same thing, the administration. I know it's an uphill battle, but like I said, we're going to get through it. We're gonna root it out of Covington. And to this council, we got a long battle. And I know it's not just my fight. It's just, I look at it as the city of Covington, and that's how we're going to get through it. I look to suggestions from anybody in the city of Covington, outside the city of Covington. And we lost a young guy recently to gun violence. I think it was very horrific. And it continued the day after. And to my knowledge, I think the day after with more gunfire. And I made it very clear to the police chief, whatever you have to do, whatever force you have to use, get it out the city. It's unnecessary. It's not what I want for my kids, my grandkids, anyone, kids or grandkids or family in the city of Covington. we want it back to, we want a family atmosphere in the city of Covington. That's what we want. I'm going to leave it at that. I welcome anybody to speak on the violence in the city of Covington. If anybody have any suggestions, please give me a call.
Thank you, Councilman Lewis. I guess before we go into council comments, is there anybody from the public that would like to say something before we move to council comments? Okay. If you would state your name and address.
Hello, everyone. My name's Ashley Russell. I know I'm a familiar face. It is very, very sad. I remember meeting with the mayor and Chief Collada in reference to a gun buyback. Why not? You know, this is not the first life that we lost. I think it was in the beginning when we first lost someone about a year ago. We met and, you know, talked about a gun buyback. This is the time to do it. I'm here because I am concerned. You know, my son just turned 15. He can't go to the park. He can't play ball. He can't go to the pool. He can't do the things that I used to do in the city, you know, in Covington. You know, it's not a place to grow up. You know, I'm a very professional person. I don't, you know, smoke. I don't, you know, do drugs or anything like that. So we do have things that we need to change in the community. But what about the people that are professional? You know, do we just forget about them? You know, so we do have people that look like myself, that's professional, that want to live peacefully, you know, in the area. So my concerns are what is the plan now? Do we do a gun buyback? I mean, I think that is, you know, I think that's a great idea. Why not? That's my concern right now. Like, I'm ready to move, basically, because it's very, very sad. Kids are dying, 17 years old. It's very, very sad. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Okay. Council comments? Councilman Boxford?
I appreciate Councilman Lewis's passion about the crime, Miss Ashley's passion about the crime. I know this administration, the administration and the council, we raised the funds for the water, and so if I'm not mistaken, in August, this month, we will be fully staffed, which is going to help in that situation. The sad thing about it is loss of life. I don't care what background, anything, loss of life is terrible, no matter how it happens, especially, you know, children. 17-year-old, you're still a child. I believe that this is going to take a community effort, just like Councilman Lewis said, because it affects all of us. It's a trickle down. My son, stepson, he's going to, he's at orientation tonight to go to Covington High. So he will also be going to school with some of these people that are committing these crimes, that are violent and things like that. And I fear for him as far as that goes. I'm very excited from the meetings I've had with our new police chief. He is, you know, boots on the ground, ready to go. And that is encouraging to me, because I think it's this council, by approving the pay increase with the selection from Mayor Mark, a great selection of our new police chief, that we're basically sending a statement out there saying that we're not going to put up with this anymore, because over 90% of the people that live in districts A and B, as well as the rest of Covington, are great, hardworking people. They're friendly, they wave, it's like, it's a community. And it's a shame that these few cause the problems for everybody else. It makes people like Miss Ashley want to move. That's very disheartening. And I am very encouraged, though, I have to say, with the administration and the new police chief, that we're going to really get some things done here. And like I said, we're sending a message out there that no longer are we going to put up with this. The drugging and thugging and all that stuff is coming to an end. They're going to come and get you. So we are not going to stand for it anymore. And I think it's the community, all of us together, are saying we're not going to stand for it anymore. That's my comments.
Thank you. Anyone else from the council?
Well,
Mr. Smith?
yeah, I definitely understand the frustration. It's frustrating for me If you can suggest some things as to how we can get more involved and participate, I'm all ears, okay?
I do.
Okay?
I got one suggestion, and I would be wrong not to say it. A teacher from Covington High messaged me, and her words was, Mr. Lewis, I'm here to help any way I can. She said, most of the kids from District A goes to Covington High. When they're at school, they're wonderful kids, they're respectful. The problem is when they leave school, they have nothing to do, and the idle time is what get them in trouble. Again, the city of Covington has removed things for them to do. So we as a council and elected officials have to bring back some things for them to do. And I think we all know that I've preached that since I got elected. We have removed those things from the city for those kids to do, not just in District A, I think in the entire city. So that's one thing that we may need to look at again. If we want to get the kids off the corner, off the blocks, walking the street, we may need to look at things for those kids to do to keep them active. Idle time kills people. It may be like the guy said at Hope House. Idle time, bring them to the computer. Pornography. Kids hanging on the block. That's fighting, drugs. What can we do as council members, administration, to get these kids doing positive things?
Refresh my memory, what are some of the things that we removed?
Growing up,
I just see improvement for
let me tell you what I had.
personally.
Let me tell you what I had. I had a community center. I had a recreation department. I had baseball. I had football. I had mentors. I had a Boys and Girls Club. I had police officers that were my coaches. I had Mr. Mayberry. I had Magic. I mean, I had all those people who knew me and made sure I was on the right track. I had those things. We don't have that anymore. That's all gone.
We still got Boys and Girls Club, although we don't have a facility yet. Thankfully, the school board allows us to use Rosenwald. I agree. I mean, you got to find things for the kids to do. I think our recreation department, we all know where we are with that, you know. We can't get I would like to see Rec District 10 approved, you know. We've put it before the voters 3 times, I believe, in the last 15 years. And we continue to lose that. You know, if we had a Rec District 10, we'd be able to do a little bit more on the recreation end. From what I understand, this year, we don't even have tackle football. We got flag football, okay? Which, to me, kind of blows my mind. I mean, I grew up with tackle football, but I'm sure most of these kids today want to play tackle football, okay? So I agree that you got to keep them stimulated with sports. You got mentors. The frustration comes, I coached as well as the mayor coached at CRD for years, and you try your best to mentor, and yet it's still frustrating because I know personally some kids that I coached that ended up going to jail, you know, for stupid things, okay? And certainly that wasn't me, you know, not paying attention to them because we did. So it is frustrating. I get it. I look forward to working with you, the administration, the council, to try and make things better for all our children, okay? The youth of this city is the future of our city, so let's try and work together. And yeah, my heart goes out to people that lose young kids to violence. It's a terrible thing, but it's happening all over the country. So
I know, I don't want this to be just air on the table, though, and I don't want this to be it's all over the country. We need to act on it, though. We need to talk about it. You know, we need to follow up on it. We need to go to a committee after we leave here, and we need to plan something and get it in motion. You know, we're 2 years in now. The violence has increased. We need to act on it now. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Gotcha. Look forward to hearing from you. Let's set a time to do that.
Thank you. Anyone else from the council?
Yeah, I was just going to reiterate what Peter and I have talked about as far as affecting, you know, John's district, Peter's district. It's 1 block away from my district. I know I can hear the gunshots from my backyard with my kids playing. It's technically District D, but I mean, at the end of the day, those are just lines. So 100% agree. As y'all all know, I'm involved with the Boys and Girls Club. I know Rick is as well. But, you know, we've talked before, it only goes so far to a certain age, and then they kind of like age out of that. Technically, it's open higher, but it's really just for the younger kids. So I'm all on board, you know, to figure out something physically, you know, less talk, more action of what we could do to have activities. Rick, you mentioned the rec thing. I've said in the past, it was only a couple votes that it lost by. I think 15 years is a totally different demographic in Covington. More families, I think it might be a different ballgame. I agree.
Thank you. Councilman Verret?
I just wanted to put for the record that, back to some of the comments that are made, the passion is alive and well in the city of Covington. And I think our discussions with our new police chief and the resources that have been provided by this council and this administration are going to make a difference. I think that we have to be cognizant of the issues that are in each district. And so it's great that we have two council at large and we have the individual. And when there's a certain district, we're all one. It's not District A that's got a problem. City of Covington may have a problem with that. But I will also say that I have seen progress with a lot of publicity about the shooting, not as much publicity about the perpetrators being arrested and in the jail quickly. And I commend the police force for that. So yes, we need to do more, but at the same time, let's be cognizant of the fact that we don't have to wake people up that there's an issue. I think everyone wants to help, and I think there's some good comments that are being made.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Roberts?
Yeah, I'll just make it quick. One, I absolutely appreciate Peter and his passion for making things better in Covington for sure. I'm a backwards mapper. When I think it's what's the outcome I need and how do we get there, and then start back from square one. And you'll never have activities if people don't feel safe. So even with the pool and even with the basketball courts, nobody's going out there and do anything if they feel like they're going to be in harm's way. So we've put the resources together to say safety's coming. We have the police officers that's going to be able to allow people to feel a little bit more safer perceptionally. But if I said what's the number one thing we really need to hear, it's the communication process between the residents and the police and us, so that Peter hits it on the head. They can't do it all. They can't see it all. And people see things and record things every day. To prosecute people, you have to be brave enough to stand against crime. You have to. And I know the risk and I know the fear, but you have to say love's going to beat hate every day, and then you just do it. And if you get enough people doing that, you put enough people in the community together to make things change. And that change is going to come. We just need to be able to do it together. So I commend the fact that communication is the key to this. And the frustration part of, I want my District A to be here and they don't show up, I get it. So let's find, even if we got to go to them, let's figure out how we can do that.
Thank you. Anyone else? With that being said, I think it was a great discussion, great passion. Everybody on this council, I think we all in the same boat and wanting things for every part of the city. So we have an opportunity to move forward. We have the resources in place, and I thank everyone that works hard on this, the police force too. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and move right into comments and reports. We're going to go straight into District A. Councilman Lewis. Respectfully, yes. Thank you. Okay. District B, Councilman Boxford.
All right, first is, my update is for the food bank. Of course, they're open on the second and fourth Saturday openings. They're open from 9 a.m. to noon on the second and fourth of each month for food distributions, new client registrations by appointment only. Of course, they're, following the COVID-19 protocols, so the resale shop and everything, everybody's masking up again. See, in July they saw more than 44 houses increase, and they anticipate this to grow as awareness of these openings increase. The new T2 food box, which is, I think, is a great program. That's for the diabetic food boxes. They have had a huge interest in this. So This is really great. They're healthier boxes with items of whole grains and low sodium items for household facing diabetes. The summer stock during June and July, they've been distributing our traditional summer stock bags for our school-aged youth clients. So far, they've distributed more than 1,000 of these kid packs. That supplements the loss of school breakfasts and lunches during the summer. Summer months are always slow for donations, so if you could just tell everybody that's in your community and stuff like that. There's a lot of businesses around here that have these collection sites like Aquistapaces and so on and so forth. It's like, hey, you know, throw one of these items in their basket and stuff, because it really goes a long ways. Their August most needed items are like tuna, corn, peas, cooking oil, and canned or dried beans. The July stats, average for July 2021 was 93 households, 102 boxes daily in 2021. Year-to-date totals are 10,285 households, 11,490 boxes. As always, they just, you know, it's not just Covington, they do it all throughout St. Tammany. And the last thing I have to update is to remember, like as I touched earlier on, school is coming back in session. So little kids are going to be out there, the buses are going to be moving and stuff like that. So everybody slow your roll and keep your eyes out for the little kids that are going to be out and about now. That's it for District B.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, District C, Councilman Roberts.
Yes, sir, thank you. I guess three things. The water bill discrepancy seems to be kind of ironing itself out, but I still see some of the things here and there that are off. I appreciate that Facebook becomes the source of credibility for everyone to tell you that their water bill's messed up. So, but it is less and less. So I do see it kind of ironing itself out. Number two, Councilman Botsford just touched on it. School starting. I'm asking everyone just to be mindful of speed limits in school zones. I asked the chief, and I hate to just single out a school, but it is in my district. We have sarcastically named it the Kehoe 500 because every morning they disregard stop signs and speed limits every morning. And if we can just get in early and set a precedent and say, this is what it's supposed to look like when you care about neighborhoods, do the speed limit. That would be big for all the residents in River Forest for sure. And then thirdly, the Patricia Drive scenario, I want to commend Callie and the mayor for dealing with this. I think that the one thing that COVID has taught me is patience. You expect the unexpected. The things that you think is going to happen is not going to happen, and there's going to be setbacks and all that. I absolutely understand it by all means that this is not normal. However, the communication breakdown through those abnormal, it's frustrating. I'll use Peter's word. It's absolutely frustrating because if you know there's going to be a change take place, just put me in the loop. Because what happens is machines and equipment and signs get put out, and the neighbors get excited because things about to happen that we've waited for years, and then nothing happens. And you're wondering and wondering and wondering, and I don't see anything, and then you find out, oh, it's a COVID scenario. I don't know if it is or isn't. I don't know what y'all believe is or isn't, but all I know is we have to hear what we hear and then go with what we know. I'm hoping there's some progress coming. I think they were out there starting some stuff today or yesterday. So I'm excited to get it started. I'm truly looking forward to progress. I know there's been progress in the past, but it's been unseen progress, smoke testing, engineering. Nobody gets to see those monies spent, but they see machines when they show up. And then when the machines show up, they're expecting to see something happen. So I don't flip my lid like everybody. I just want things to go smoothly, and I know it's not going smoothly, and that's where communication becomes the number one precedent to say, Joey, here's what you need to know what's going on, because your neighbor's going to start reaching out, want to know why there's signs out there detouring everybody and nothing's being done. So as long as those things can happen, just please keep me in the loop. And I'm sure the council can say the same thing. Please keep them in the loop with anything going on in the city so that we can be the middleman and know what we're supposed to know. Other than that, I'm sure you'll touch on some of that when you're going to speak. Glad to see some progress starting on Patricia Drive.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, District D, Councilwoman Ludwig.
I'm once again going to defer to the mayor about events because I don't know what's going on anymore with all the COVID regulations, which brings me to the very large elephant in the room of St. Tammany Hospital in my district, of course. Just can't believe I'm reporting, as of today, 92 in COVID care at the hospital, which is unheard of. The highest it got when things were at their worst was 63. And it's just insane to me, especially because 89% of the COVID patients in hospital care statewide are unvaccinated. So without, getting political, to me, I don't know how it's turned into a political thing. There's a vaccine. We talked about kid safety with Thomas. We've talked about small businesses and the economy with the casino guy. That this is our way out of it. Let's just do what we're supposed to do, and please, for the love of God, let's move forward and sleeves up, get those numbers down. I have lots of doctor friends who are no longer frustrated. As Peter said, they're starting to get pissed. So let's take care of them like they take care of us, and be responsible. That's it.
Thank you very much. Moving on to District E, Councilman Verrett.
I would reiterate the comments that Cody made. If you're unvaccinated, please consider getting vaccinated with consultation with your health care provider. I don't think vaccine should be a political issue. With that being said, I'll shift to something more exciting. The kids coming back to school, which is not particularly exciting for those people that are coming in and out of our city who are speeding and running stop signs. And I've talked to the chief about it. I've talked to our officers about it. Please recognize that we're a small community. These streets are not made for this Kehoe 500. But with that being said, look, just everybody kind of keep a lookout and be cognizant and slow down a little bit. You can look at the live oaks. We've got a great tree board.
Well put, well put. Okay, moving on, Councilman at Large, Councilman Smith.
I didn't have any, but I know if you get to talk, you can take the mask off. Whew. You touched on it earlier. The police, I was really impressed with how you all quickly found the suspects in that shooting. I mean, it was like a day and a half later. I was like, wow, they did a good job. So I commend you guys on that. Boston Street looks wonderful. The overlay project finally took off, and I drove down Boston Street coming here tonight going, man, what a difference this made. So that was really good. There was a life-threatening situation, in my opinion, involving trees. Tree board stuff got me thinking about it. On Columbia Street and Polk Avenue, there was a kind of, I guess, a dead tree, and when the storm came through, that thing fell over, and it was being held up by a smaller tree. And I believe it was Wayne or Wayne Mayberry, our code enforcement, or maybe it was Malcolm Guidry, the guy that we contract work with, I believe. He's an arborist. And they discovered this thing, and it was kind of like something, it could go at any moment, and a family could be driving down the street on Columbia Street and get wiped out. So they took care of that with the administration's help. They did that immediately, so kudos to those guys also. With that said, I'll put my mask back on. That's it.
And I'll take mine off. Thank you, Councilman Smith. Okay, a couple of things real quick. I appreciate Councilman Smith talking about Boston Street. It's nice and smooth now. I don't know if it's necessarily going to slow the roll, but hopefully we can control the roll. But it really looks great. CBA meeting tomorrow night, if anybody's interested. I'm not sure what the protocol for COVID is now with CBA, but it will be at the 19th hole at 1645 Highway 190 at 5:30. So if anybody wants to join that, and really on the business community part of things, because the CBA does a great job for all of our businesses. Try to support your businesses. I know we're going into this COVID thing again. They have had so many struggles. We appreciate them very much in the city, and support them any way you can, truly try to support them. So we wish the best with this COVID thing that's happening. Appreciate everybody's comments on that. And we're going to turn it over to Mayor Mark.
Very briefly, I'd like to thank the council for their consideration of the mid-year budget adjustments. I mentioned that previously, and I think that's going to be a real positive for us. I'd also like to thank you once again for the $4,000 per year per officer raise that you enacted in August of last year. We put that raise into place. At that time, we had 26 patrol officer positions. We had 13 filled. We did not have an adequate staffed police department. And in the subsequent to that pay raise, we had over 60 applications for the Covington PD. We were able to choose some of the best of the best. We've had cadets go through the academy, and in January of this year, I made the statement that we could expect to be fully staffed by the end of this summer. And that looks like exactly what we're going to be. We're going to have 26 patrol officers in 26 slots, and rather than having 3 officers manning the city in a 12-hour shift, we're going to have 5 during the day and 6 at night. It is continued police presence that makes the difference, and that's the direction we're headed in. And so again, kudos to this council for approving that last August. And then finally, just a follow-up on Boston Street. We always are grateful to Senator McMath and Representative Mark Wright. Always remind people Boston Street, 21st and South Tyler, or Louisiana DOTD State Highway number 21. And so the state funded that, but also thanks to Callie and her staff for overseeing that. We actually administrate the contract, and they did a great job. With that in mind, my hope in coming into the budget year for 2022 is going to include repaving Rutland. And it was not originally named Rutland just because of all the ruts that are in it at this time. But we've just about completed the subterranean infrastructure repair. We will have that done, and then hopefully we'll be able to budget for that in 2022. Also during 2022, we hope to budget for the subterranean infrastructure repair of Gibson Street. Let's go in, fix all the sewer lines, fix the water lines, the drain lines. We have a significant drainage failure on Gibson. Do that in 2022, and then in 2023, we come back and budget for the paving. So we have to ask our citizens to be patient, but we're not just going to go in and do an asphalt overlay over subterranean defects. And as far as events, all I can really say is August is kind of light. We have white linen for Covington Art, the ultimate tailgate, but I think we all just have to follow closely what the guidelines are and what we're going to be able to participate in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything else from administration tonight? And I appreciate you mentioning again about the police, the financial situation with the police, and I appreciate your lead on that, the mayor and administration, and also the council. I think the history always has shown that the council has supported anything that we need, we need it for our community. So I'm sure we're going to continue to do that. Okay. Well, as a reminder, the upcoming meeting, the September meeting, is scheduled to be held on the second Tuesday of September, the 14th. So please put that in your calendar at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. So that being said, everybody have a great evening. Anything else, folks?
What would you call those comments the mayor just made? Mayoral comments?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. We'll end on that. This meeting is adjourned.